Corey.fi.
No, you did it wrong. Hey guys, so we're here and it is episode 2 of the build that hasn't actually even started yet because we got old and trusty here that needs a whole bunch of small things, but actually needs a lot of things. And because I'm not going to do any of it, I have brought the classic
Corey.fi.
Corey. If you guys remember, actually, Corey did the fitment on the E30, the sedan build that we did. And if you remember, it was actually nothing more than like a hazing series for like, what, 7 episodes?
Yeah.
Even the community wasn't happy.
Yeah, I just got roasted a lot by a lot of people.
Yeah, Corey, he tinted the taillights red, which nobody liked.
I
he
did.
spray painted the carpet black.
I like that.
Nobody liked that. He spray painted the leather also black.
No, that wasn't me.
That wasn't you.
That was Gels.
Gels did that before. Gels is working in the bay over there. What else did you do? You ran Silver's coilovers for a while on like a bajillion pounds of spring paint.
I installed the short shifter backwards so you couldn't put it in reverse without unclamping the center console.
Yep, which was great. A lot of confidence here because one thing Corey did do right is he did get perfect fitment on the E30 because we ran like 17 by 8 and 17 by 9 or something like that. Nobody thought it was gonna fit right and it fit perfectly. So in today's episode, we're gonna be kind of diving into changing up the fitment on the 430 when it's aired out, specifically for SEMA, because we wanna try to get more of like a fender to lip-ish fitment with a little bit wider tire. So Corey's here, he's gonna measure it, but we're gonna let Corey get off the stage so that we can introduce to you the person that's gonna have to put up with the rest of the details, Banker. Banker! Give him the microphone. Don't take off your shirt though. Can you hear it going up against like hair down his chest? Gross. Don't do, why do you have to be like that, bro? So, no, back pocket. Back pocket. So for those that don't know, we actually have a local shop too called Offset's Garage. That's actually where we do a lot of our Fitment Industries builds. And this is Banker. Banker's like one of the OGs. He comes all the way back from like custom offsets days, and OG was actually like his thing.
Yeah.
He used to come in whenever he wants, leave whenever he wants, say whatever he wanted to customers. Can't really do that anymore, but Banker is the man with the plan when it comes to actually modifying everything. So I gave him a gift.
Yeah, this is probably the worst gift I've ever
It is
given.
a great gift because there's a couple things that we're gonna have to work through, specifically what we need to fix in the next 6 weeks. Would you like the list chronologically or alphabetically?
Chronologically.
Okay, so first things first, we have to change out the entire seats because the seats are super duper rough. Steering wheel has to come out because we have Exotic Car Gear making us a new one.
Yep.
Center console has to come out. Exotic Car Gear gave us another one. And then there's some smaller stuff too. But we only have to completely rewire the air suspension system though.
Rewire or replumb?
Replumb and reestablish new compressors and the new management system because we got partnered up with AccuAir because AccuAir is back into the fray with some new systems, and so we're going to be taking the old system out and putting the new system in, and then we're going to be comparing the two. This is why they have Ferrari mechanics. The button's right here. It's right, hold on. It's right there.
Oh, it's way in there.
Yeah, see, it's all the way over on the Richard. Yeah, so this actually isn't too bad, but it takes 3 minutes to air up and it kind of looks like booty cheeks. So we need to make this cool. And AccuAir's got cool setup. They like cool, but it can't be wood. So you got to do something else. I don't care what it is, but it can't be wood. This is kind of, you know, Instagram doesn't see this, but I do. That's a line. That's an airline.
I just want to reiterate that I had nothing to do with the original install of the air on this car.
No, you didn't. They did. Where's Dakota and Gels? Gels?
I didn't run the airline, Brandon Title did.
No, he ran it. I don't know what he's talking about. And there's some like rusty bolts here on the diffuser that we kind of got to figure out. But besides that, steering wheel, center console, air management, wheels, tires, Fitment Max, new frunk in 6 weeks.
Everything but the Ferrari part should go really well.
Hell yeah. So
your plates expired 6 months ago.
So I know my plates expired 6 months ago. I just have not updated them yet because COVID. Because, all right, I don't know why I haven't updated it. But, so now that we're done and we've introduced the entire series of what we have to do, the first thing that we're gonna do is measure for the actual wheels because we're getting new wheels put on this car and it's a surprise as to what it actually is. My breathing stopped for a second. That's why you saw the pause. Have you ever seen a buffer in real life? That's what just happened. It was like real life lag. Corey!
Okay.
Don't hold it like that. It's a lot of faith in this one.
Okay.
We can do it. I'm really excited. Do you need anything from me?
No, I got. This is a performance tool caliper. Performance tool.
Corey can measure wheels. That's about it. But Banker can figure the rest out over the next 6 weeks. You ready to get started?
Yeah. I got my tape measure.
Wheels, tires, suspension, fitmentindustries.com. And you're gonna use the calculators on the website.
Yes.
Because that's what makes it easy.
Actually, it really does make it easy. I am definitely not that smart, in case you couldn't tell from the previous interactions between him, I, and you. But yeah, the calculators really are helpful. You just plug some numbers in, it gives you information. You use that information to buy wheels, tires, and suspension. Go us.
All right, Corey, good luck.
So we already know the measurements for these sizes because obviously we had them made. So we're taking those same measurements, and really the only thing we're trying to solve for here is how can we pull the wheel out a little bit when we're all the way aired out. So these original wheels were measured at ride height. They were measured to sit flush at ride height. What we didn't really take into account for though is that when you air it out, especially on a vehicle like this, it really sucks those wheels up into that fender well and creates this kind of excess negative camber that you're seeing here. So really all we're trying to do is measure this gap here in between the fender liner and the lip of the wheel. And then we're just gonna push that outer lip out a little bit, maybe mess with the offset a little bit. But realistically, this is the only portion we need to measure right now, so it should be pretty simple. Really only took this out because it almost blew my cover. Only took this out because it makes him think I'm kind of silly. That keeps his expectations of me low, is what we're really gonna use. So Banker called it a caliper. I've always known these as micrometers. Call it what you want, but really all we gotta do, zero it, trying to read this in millimeters, not inches. Sweet. This is what we do now. I gotta get comfy here. Like I said, we're gonna measure this top portion, this side portion, and then we're also going to take into account the thickness of the fender and then reach up in behind there to make sure that the roll of the fender isn't filled. That's something that a lot of exotic and European cars do. They'll actually put like a bead of caulk back there so that you can't roll it and you actually have to pull the fender out. That makes it more difficult, obviously, so you always wanna aim for a car that doesn't have that. And luckily, this car does not. It has a nice, just sheet metal roll, just like a 2002 Toyota Camry. Yeah, bud. All we're gonna do is go to the very top of the lip and pull it into the closest point of the fender. I don't really know what the technical term for that is. But here we go. Yeah. So that equals 25.61 millimeters. 25.6 millimeters is the distance that we are trying to close right here. Burnout tires to Michelin Pilot Super Sports. Obviously a much better tire. That also means that the sidewall is a little bit thicker, which just means that we need to account for that a little bit more when we're putting this together. So knowing that the sidewall is actually not going to curve in as hard as these do, all I'm gonna do is subtract a couple millimeters from that. It's usually about 4 to 5 millimeters that sidewall will have a variance. We'll take that 25, we'll call it 21 millimeters, and then that's how far we'll wanna pull that out. All I'm gonna do now is I'm going to stick this portion up by the tire, by where that quarter panel and back bumper connect, to make sure that we still have enough clearance there. And then as long as we're good to go there, so take the 4 millimeters off, put it down to 21.6, stick that in there, and that puts us right at the fender. So we should be sitting real pretty there. Again, it is normally a lot harder to measure for wheels than just figuring out what this distance is. The only reason it is so simple right now is because the manufacturer already has our numbers from this whole setup. They have the offset, they have the lip size, they have the inner barrel size. So really all we need to do is get them this distance to close. They'll take that calculation. We should just be pushing the lip out a little bit, but I know that those do usually come in standard sizes. So there could be a little bit of a variance, and that's when we'll just have to mess with the offset. But yeah, for the most part, that's really all we have to do. So we got the back all done here. We are going to be pushing that out. I believe it was 21.6 extra millimeters. And then let's go get the front. Corey.fi on Instagram. I'm determined to get that plug in there as much as Alex does. Turn it on, get it to 0, move it over. It brings us to about 19.89 millimeters. And then with that, again, we just need to take that tire variance in. So we'll cut 3 millimeters off the front just to make up for that increased sidewall. And that'll put us at just about 16 extra millimeters in the front. So we'll be pulling out the front 16 millimeters closer to the fender, and we'll be pulling out the back 21 millimeters closer to the fender. And like I said, the wheel company is just going to take those measurements, but they have these measurements already. They're just going to take account for that difference, get the closest available size up for the lip, and then just account for that offset a little bit to make up any difference. And that's how you measure for 3-piece wheels when you already have 3-piece wheels. It's pretty easy. We have done a video telling you exactly how to measure for wheels before. It goes over everything from back spacing to ride height, lip size, diameter, width. It goes over everything you will need, incorporating the tire into there. If you want, Gels already did that video. You can find it right here. We also have an entire fitment calculator built into our website. So you can take the information you learned from this video, you can take the information you learned from Gels' video, and you can kind of put it all together and then use these calculators that we have built into our website. It's going to take your back spacing, tell you what the total width should be, or it'll take your width, tell you what your back spacing should be, and given the offset. You really just have to plug in a couple numbers and then it will give you the rest, as long as you kind of know generally what you're going for. Super helpful, super useful. I definitely recommend it if you're trying to size up your own wheels. You can always check out the gallery if you're just looking for kind of just a ground level basic place to start with. The gallery is always super useful. Otherwise, like I said, check out Gels' video, check out the Fitment calculators, and you too can spec out your own 3-piece set of wheels for your car.
Thank you so much. And if you're looking for wheels and tires, suspension, you know where to go, fitmentindustries.com. Plus, the calculators that we use to actually figure out what fits on this car are the same exact calculators that you can use on the website. So if you go to the website, you can go to Tools, Calculators, and you can figure out what wheels are gonna fit your ride. And also, if you already have an aftermarket set, if you change around the offset, what is that gonna do to the overall fitment of the setup? So it's actually a pretty neat tool that you can use. But if you are looking for wheel and tire packages, suspension, accessories, all that sort of good stuff, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, Alex at F5. We will see you in the next episode. Goodbye. Come on, hey, come on. I'll come over there. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Hi.